Each week, American Artifacts features museums and historic places. Next, join us for a visit to the headquarters of the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution to learn about the organization's history and collections.
I'm Raina Boyd. I'm the Curator of Education. We are at the Dar Museum, which is located in the White House neighborhood. So we are adjacent to the White House, just a few blocks away at 17th and D. There are 175,000 members today with the DAR, but in 1890 it was started with just 4 women who had this vision that women can be patriots of their country, and that's what they wanted to do. They were progressive for their time. We have Ellen Walworth, and she was a lawyer. Mary Lockwood, she was a historian and writer. Eugenia Washington, she was a government worker. And we have Mary Desha, who was an educator and actually opened a small private school. These 4 ladies, they wanted to show that women could be patriots. They wanted to support their country. They wanted to commemorate those who fought for our freedom. At the time the society was formed in 1890s, there was a sense of nationalism. There was a returning to our colonial roots. The country was focusing, especially here in the capital city, on its roots. And so many lineage and heritage organizations were popping up, but they were mostly men, and they didn't always allow women in. So these women founded their own society, and that makes them progressive, that women were going to have their own organization and run it themselves. And it makes them visionary because they picked this location, the headquarters location, which is adjacent to the White House. It's the largest complex that we know of in the world that's solely owned and operated by women. DAR is short for National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, and it represents the society here. It's a private organization where, in order to be a member, you need to prove heritage, have an ancestor of somebody who was a patriot in the American Revolution.
My name is Kendall Casey, and I am the Assistant Curator of Education for the DAR Museum. We are currently in the library at headquarters for National Society Daughters of the American Revolution. Not long after the founding of the society, the daughters realized that they needed a place to serve as both a headquarters and a place to preserve the relics and papers that they planned to collect. So they raised the money and purchased this land here in DC and hired architect Edward Pierce Casey to design and build Memorial Continental Hall. The building was built between 1904 and 1910 and housed the museum, the library, meeting hall, and offices for the functioning of the society.
We are standing in the Pennsylvania Foyer. It is actually, or was, the original entrance. You can see the doors behind me, the original entrance of the headquarters when they first built it. And so you would come in this way. From the moment the society was started in 1890, they began collecting objects. They wanted to collect objects made by women in America, about American history, about American culture, and they realized years later in the early 1970s that they needed to have some sort of formalized structure, so they actually formed the DAR Museum, and we began collecting objects. We focus on early American material culture, anything that predates the American Revolution. We'll go sometimes into early 20th century just for comparison so we can see how things have evolved. But we collect glass, furniture, paintings, costumes, decorative arts objects, anything that was made and used in the home from early America. You can find museums all over the country and the world that'll have a period room within their larger collection, but our entire museum is mostly made up of period rooms. I am going to show you some of my favorite rooms, and I have 3 of my favorite rooms, and I'll just tell you a little bit about them and why I like them.
You've been watching a preview of our weekly half-hour American Artifacts program. Visit cspan.org/history for schedule information and to view entire programs online.